So welcome everybody. Welcome to our Monday night Patchination call. Um, it's been a busy month so far. I think everybody's been feeling the excitement of some of the deals that corporate has put out there with the 4 for 3 and hey, we're back to 25% off for first-time customers all the time at this juncture. So that's a nice change. But I think that everybody has felt the excitement, felt the momentum. We still have the join for $1 going on till the 30th a month. So that's really exciting to hear as well. And as I travel around as I've been doing this call for a long time, I got thinking about confidence, and I started to think that people may look at me or other leaders in the company and think, "Wow, they're confident." Well, I wanted to assure you that I was not a confident person. I hated public speaking in school. I did it, but my heart was pounding out of my chest when I did it. I remember starting these calls almost 10 years ago now, and my heart still races every time I gotta do it. And for me, it's allowing me to grow. It's allowing me to, and I know that the more I do it, the more I speak, the more I get out of my comfort zone, that this will now become part of my comfort zone. And so I know that if you're on this call and you haven't at times in your life felt unconfident about something, I think you're fibbing, because it doesn't matter what we've done in life. At times, I think we lack confidence. And so I think that's a big thing in this journey of sharing this technology is that we all need to work on building our confidence. And so what I wanted to share before we go into a bit of a pagination group chat after. I want to share my screen, and I found this amazing recording by John Maxwell. Now, you know that Jay is paying for all the VPs and above to be trained by John Maxwell for the next year. And this guy, if you've never followed or looked at John Maxwell or gone onto YouTube and watched any, this guy is probably one of the most incredible men I think I've ever seen or listened to in the world. He's just the kindest, kind of reminds me of, you know, everybody's granddad, and the guy you just want to go up and hug and be with. And so I thought what I would do is I found this little presentation by John Maxwell that just see if I can find it here. Excuse me just one sec, folks. I'm gonna see where it is here. Okay, let me just share my screen here again.
I gave ChatGPT $50 and told it to go build me an income stream, and I wasn't expecting what would happen next.
Can everybody see that okay? Give me a thumbs up. I'll just make it a little larger here. Okay, so this is just a little bit over 5 minutes. So sit down, relax. If you want to grab a pen and a piece of paper and take a couple tips here. But the other thing I wanted to suggest to everybody, if you get a chance to follow John Maxwell or to go onto YouTube, this guy has covered everything in the world that you can imagine. And he's written 90 some odd books, sold over 38 million copies. Just an incredible, kind, gentle, and wise man. So let's watch this and then we'll chat.
If I were to ask you a gift that you would like to receive, I'll bet many of you would pick what I'm going to talk to you about now. John Maxwell here. Welcome to Minute with Maxwell. I want to talk to you about confidence, about becoming a confident person. I find that is just a big need in the life of many people. They just lack the confidence to do what they want to do, to sometimes do what they should do. And so they come to me and they ask me, how do I become a more confident person? And I would like to share with you quickly 3 ways that you could begin to build into your self-confidence that would allow you to go to a level that a lack of confidence will hold you back and keep you from achieving. The first thing I would share with you is this, that if you want to be a confident person, you have to take action. Confidence is a result of doing something. And so many times people cheat themselves because they lack that confidence, so they don't do what they should do, only to leave saying, I wish I would have done that. I could remember when I was in my 20s, I went to a meeting with leaders that were older than I, wiser, bigger, better, faster. What was I, 27? They probably averaged 45, 50. And I was overwhelmed by the fact that I was truly, not trying to be humble, I was truly the least in the room. And I could have learned so much from them. And in fact, they gave times for us to ask questions, and I held back. And I didn't ask questions, and I left that meeting, and I really realized how I cheated myself. And I determined that I would never let that happen again. Now, why didn't I ask the question? Because I lacked the confidence. I thought, well, it's probably a silly question to them. They probably answered that question 1,000 times. They'll look at me and say, wow, he doesn't know very much. And I determined that day that regardless of how intimidated I was going to become, I was never going to cheat myself again. And that I was always going to ask the question, even though I figured it may be a real stupid question. What was I doing with my confidence? I was making a determination to take action on something that I didn't feel comfortable with. And trust me, I did. I never broke that promise to myself. And today I can look back at many times where I just went ahead and did it. I didn't feel comfortable, but I went ahead and did it. And each time I took action, it began to give me confidence. The second thing that I have done to build my confidence is to share with others and help them. One of the things I found is that you begin to feel better about yourself when you help other people get better. And so therefore, there's a confidence booster in making yourself invaluable to others because you're always adding value to them. And so I grew my confidence not only in taking actions on things that I perhaps was intimidated with, but I, quote, did it anyway. I grew my confidence by the fact that I began to meet people's needs. And because I met their needs, I began to be valued and I began to have influence with those people. And all of that process helped me to become a more confident person. The third thing that I did is I spent time with confident people. There's no security like being with secure people. You know it. You know it when you're with them. You know it when you're not with them. You can feel it in the room. A lot of my leadership has been based on the fact that I provide a lot of security for people. They just know. If they hook up with me, if they read my book, if they kind of follow me, if they listen to my lesson, they're going to get better. And that security helps them to become more secure and confident themselves. That's exactly what I did as a young leader. I found people that were confident, and I hung with them. I watched them. I asked them questions. I learned from them. But more than anything else, I immersed myself in the environment of a confident person because confidence is caught. I've watched it happen many times. A team maybe is behind in a game and all of a sudden they get on a run and they, quote, start playing over their head and they begin to build momentum and they get on a roll and they start scoring points. And you can just watch in the behavior, the attitude, the actions, the facial expressions of the players that they're just feeling better about themselves as the game goes on. It's contagious. Get around a person that's secure and you'll become more secure. Get around a person that's got confidence and you'll begin to gain more confidence. Because secure, confident people want you to be confident also. The only people that don't want you to be confident in life are insecure people. They always want you to be off balance so they can have the advantage. So I want to encourage you, hang around some confident people, get in that environment and immerse yourself in it, add value to people, and take action on things that you fear. And you'll begin to build your confidence. I'm glad you're with me today on Minute with Maxwell.
Wow. So I thought that, as simple as it is, was very, very powerful. And excuse me one sec. I have to shut my screen door here. I didn't know whether you could hear that, but it sounded like I was in downtown LA. But I just think that John Maxwell's 3 things that he talks about here is taking action. And I know that even myself, I've kicked myself in the rear end at times because I didn't take action on something. And, it seems to be worse than if I had taken the action when I look at it in hindsight. And so I thought that was a really good point, that any action is good action. So, it took me a lot of years to get confident, to be able to do these calls, to be able to be responsible for doing these calls each and every Monday. But I love them now. I love doing them. I get disappointed if there's something that interferes with it, with our call, with our time together to share. So what I would like anybody to do tonight is I would just like you to go to the react button at the bottom and just raise your hand. And I would like us all to share for the next little bit about what your struggles are possibly, or what you have done to gain confidence in your life and how that has helped you in presenting this technology. So, oh, Peter. Go ahead, Peter. You can unmute.
Hey, everybody. Well,
How you doing,
everybody,
Peter?
I'm awesome. I'm
Good to see
awesome.
you.
So I'm going to share really quick to a lot of people. If you have, my biggest thing was learning the balance test, learning how to do the balance test, because the balance test is kind of the core of really what you need to know how to do, honestly, because that is what people see immediately, an immediate response with how quickly the patches work. And so when you do the balance test, if you can get really good at it, I'll do the balance test on the gardener, I'll do the balance test on the pool guy, I'll do the balance test on a waitress. You just got to get used to getting out there. And if you're one of those types of folks that doesn't like to do selfies or doesn't like to do, video shy or camera shy, I just urge you to just jump out there, jump into another zip code and just go for it. Because if you learn to do the balance test, I mean, practice on your kids, practice on your neighbors. That is what it's going to take to really do this business. I mean, among other things, but that's going to be your key thing. And I think a lot of the folks on here that do the balance test will agree with me. But at first I was like, I'm 4'10" and a half, 5'1" with heels on. And I do balance tests on guys that are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". So nobody has any excuses that they can't do a balance test, because it's pretty cool to watch me do a balance test on somebody. So balance test all the way.
Thank you, Peter. If any of you on this call haven't met Peter yet, I'll tell you what, she might be 5'1" with heels on, but she's 7 foot in personality and 7 foot in confidence, because she does get out there and she does do the balance test. And excited to have Peter share. We could all learn about confidence from Peter, that's for sure. Sure. So thank you for sharing, Peter. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Heather Lemke.
Hello, guys.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Terry, when you ask about confidence, I keep going back to the first time I ever met you guys at an opportunity event in Ottawa. And you were there, and Jen and your sister Lori, and I think Kevin was there. Um, Dr. Sill was there. There was a bunch of you there. And I remember you guys, hearing you guys talking about stopping at a Tim Hortons on the way up and doing the demo on people. And I thought, oh my God, I cannot imagine the balls it would take to go up to somebody in a Tim Hortons and just go to do a demo on them or start talking about the technology. And now I'm like you guys, but I find that the more you get on calls, the more you show up, the more you hear about the technology, the more comfortable you are talking about the technology. It all it does is provide you with confidence. It's a fear factor. The first time I ever heard you guys talking about it, I thought there's no way I'd ever do that. And now I just laugh when I'm going up to talk to people. I always think of you guys and the Tim Hortons. So get on every call because you can never have too much information.
Well, that's great, Heather, and thank you so much for that. At that time, I do remember the event in Ottawa, and I was hanging around with Kevin Duguay. He's a confident guy. He's my, yeah, he's my sponsor. He's one of my best friends in the world, and he's a confident guy. He's been in the sports therapy industry. He's spoken to athletes, to teams, to coaches, and whatever. And we were hanging together. So we fed off of each other. I love that. What John Maxwell said is to spend time with confident people, spend time with confident leaders. And so we build on that. And so, Heather, that's exactly what you're talking about. Even though I didn't necessarily share with you that I wasn't really that confident, I put on a game face, maybe, but the point is, you were, feeling the confidence from us, and I think that was a very valid point. So thank you for that, and lifelong friends, Heather and I, and her husband Norm. So we have a great time together, and thank you for sharing.
And you bring up a good point, Terry, because you were with Dukes, he exudes so much confidence, you feed off that. And I find myself a lot more confident even doing a show with Kevin, or with somebody that's very knowledgeable about the tech. You exude more confidence. You are who you hang around with.
Well, you're exactly right. And I just want to caution people, if you're doing the balance test on people and you hit the wrong person, the coffee's really hot there. You don't want a coffee dumped over your head or anything. So pick and choose you're confident who you're going to be confident with. So thanks, Heather, for sharing. Darlene, good to see you.
Yes. You don't normally see me on a Monday night call. I usually am hiding behind my avatar thing. And so now you're going to get it. You want to talk about the steps that it takes for confidence? Here's my gardening, no makeup, not doing the presentation look. So there you go.
You look awesome. Good, glad to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah. Couple things. So in the world that I live in, there's a lot of mixtures involved with that. But one of the things that I do is I used to lead worship at our church, and people would come up to me and said, how do you get so much confidence up there? And I'm like, I don't have any confidence up there. That's not where I'm coming from. And that's the first part that I want to give you, is that your confidence comes from where your heart and your intention is, not in what you're doing. So when you come at it with an intention versus I'm going to do this to, whether it be to make more money or make them buy stuff or something, but when you're leading with your heart and with what you want for that person, that overrides their opinion of you. That will give you so much confidence when you say, I'm doing this because, well, look at our Ikigai things. We have something the world needs. So when you're coming at your prospects with that perspective, your fear doesn't even have a place, because that's not what you're coming with. If your fear starts to creep in, that's my second thing that I wanted to share, then that is struggling in your belief system, not in your confidence. So I was at a show I had two of my newest associates that were at a different booth for a homemade product, and they were watching me, and I was getting slow, so I walked over to them and I said, "How's it going?" And she looked at me and said, "You have so much confidence." And I'm like, "Okay, what's your point?" And she's like, "How do you get so much confidence in doing this?" I'm like, "It works." And she looked at me and she says, "What do you mean?" I said, "It works. It doesn't, I don't have to believe it. It works." And she says, "Well, what if it doesn't work for that person?" I said, "Well, they need to know that there are contributing factors that may not work for them right at that time, as far as, that the benefits of what's happening." So, but I have full confidence. I've seen the brain scans. I can tell you from confidence from what I've seen in myself and other people over time, as well as in the brain scans and the studies, it works. So when you wrap your confidence around your belief system and the fears that are stopping you, it's the what if it doesn't work? And in full confidence, you can say, but you have to choose to believe that, because it is true, but it has to relate to your belief system, and it has to kind of get into the core of your being that says, I'm going to believe the truth that it works, and not believe the lies that say, what if it doesn't? So those are my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, that resonates with me, because that's what John touched on tonight, Darlene, is
Yeah.
You build confidence because you're sharing with others to help make them better, to help make their life better. So I think her internet just went down. I think we just lost her.
No, I'm still here.
Where are you? Oh,
I
there
just lowered my hand.
You lowered your hand. You disappeared.
I won't lower my hand yet. Sorry.
You got kicked into the Holy Grail.
No.
So no, but it's like you said, you when your intention is right and you share with others to help them to be better, that helps you with confidence. And that's the exact point that John Maxwell shared tonight. So thank you very much for that, Darlene. Great points for sure. Paul Vandeveen.
Hey, Terry and everybody, good evening. I wrote down 3 things that I think are important to get confidence. And my number one thing is consistency is key. You know what they say, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. And the other thing that I've heard, and actually I'm finding it's becoming more true all the time, is that you become the sum of the 5 people you hang around with. So choose your people wisely. Mm-hmm. And the guy beside me on the screen has been my mentor since day one, Mr. Kevin Dugay. And, it's important to number one, pick the brains of these people, because they have more experience than we do. And Kevin in particular, like I studied from early on, I studied him doing the balance tests and on, and how to do it for different people, and, for kids, and for, elderly people, or people that have, I've learned now that I always ask them if they have any shoulder issues, just because you want to make sure. The last thing you want to do is unknowingly hurt somebody. But it's practice. And I'm just looking the last 3 Saturdays here. I'm at the market here in the Shirkston Shores trailer park. And so every Saturday I'm there for 5 hours, and come July, then I'll be there Wednesday too. But the last 3, and the first 2 were bloody cold. And I still did 21 demos. And I'm telling you, the more you do them, it just becomes second nature. And that, for me, that builds up my confidence. But I do want to say, you got to conquer your fears. And, as Terry, as you pointed out at the beginning, we all have them. And, I'm going about conquering those fears one step at a time. It's kind of like my 12-step, one day at a time program. You take one thing, don't overwhelm yourself. Just take one thing at a time and try to get better at it. Mm-hmm. And even today, I recognize that my biggest fear is still asking people to take a look at the business. I have no problem, getting customers and selling product, but I'm starting to get that mindset that I'm doing people a disservice by not telling them that there's an income opportunity attached here, and so it's still that, even after 8 years, it's still that fear of rejection. I think that when people say no, and I mean, I'm getting better at it, but I'm starting to learn that if you have to convince somebody of it, then forget it. It's not going to work. So those are kind of those are my comments on building confidence. But repetition will breed confidence, and you will do it. I always say do it messy, because eventually you'll do it. You'll do it at an expert level.
Well, I think your point is well taken, Paul, about fear of rejection. We've all had that. And if you haven't seen the app, we have the new iDecide app, which will take that fear of rejection away from you if you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But
I've got 2 new customers already just off of getting permission of sending that app, and I've sent out. Now I'm trying to make a point of sending that, getting permission to send that to, at least to begin with, 2 people a day. And so far I've been doing that, and it starts a conversation very easily. So and then follow up.
Great point. Great points for sure. Great points for sure, Paul. And what you have touched on tonight is taking action. You're just doing it. You're just doing it. You're just doing it. Like you said with the demo, and you get better and better and more confident each time you do it. So great share. Thanks very much, Paul. Appreciate you very much. Kevy.
All right. Well, you guys, if you want to talk about rejection, okay, so watch how rejection can turn into confidence very quickly. So when I first met Jay 11 years ago, I was pretty confident that I knew everything about balance. Okay. I was very confident because I had been teaching it for like 30 years. I'm an expert. And I got instantly humbled with what I thought worked, didn't work. And then as taking action, I could have just walked out, said, I don't believe any of this stuff, I'm out of here. It was like, okay, what have you discovered? And Jay did a demo on me. And for those that don't know my story, I was all in at that first demo. I knew without a shadow of a doubt, and I've said this numerous times, so watch how it builds. I knew that this technology would change the world. I didn't know how, but I knew it would. Why? Because of the demo that Jay did on me. So then Heather and Darlene and Paul, they talk about, so you get around smart people. Okay, who was I around at the beginning? Jay, his partner, and then Terry showed up. Okay, they're all smart people. And so we formed this like little entourage, very smart people, very confident, and we developed a skill, but we had a heart belief that we could help people. This is what the foundation is. This was actually talked in a leadership call this afternoon with Jay, with all the VPs and MDs and VPs above, about the heart side of this mission to help people. And so we start on this journey. Do I have rejection notices? Absolutely, man. I got a lot of scars. But I said, they're out there. I know it's going to work. And to look back now, 11 years down the road, what we have with this tech, there's a saying I use, you become bulletproof. Because when Jay releases something, we know it works. Like Darlene talks about, we know it works. You don't have to understand, you have to be a neuroscientist. I know, and I know, and I know that it works. There is never 1 ounce of doubt when I speak that this doesn't work. It may take more time, get some other issues, other challenges, but it works. Let's start slow and let's teach you about neuro wellness and working with on the calls, conventions, meetings, seminars, going out in the field, three-way calls. I kept working and working and working at our craft, if you want to call it, or our skill or our new vocation or a mission statement. But I believe in this tech 100% from the beginning. There's no doubt when I speak, because if there's doubt, they're going to hear it. So you have to work at it. And I got mowed down my first time. I got mowed down bad my first time, but it just fired me up even more. Okay. And so you just kept going and you work with the right people. I've worked with lots of great people on this call. And you form some great friendships and you build a great team. So again, what John Maxwell talked about the teamwork side, this is an integral part of building confidence. Because I happen to be around some very confident people at the beginning. It's a very lonely world when you're all out there by yourself sometimes. And to be around other like-minded people, it just gives you that, I call it a foxhole buddy. So find yourselves a foxhole buddy like Forrest Gump. Find a foxhole buddy or buddies team, and you link arms. Terry's talked about this. You link arms with like-minded people, and guess what? Something powerful, because you start to feed off of each other, and you start to help each other, and you start to build each other up. You start to encourage one another, and then you're building in good positive attributes and positive fruits. And you know what? We've been doing a lot of sowing. And we're reaping the rewards now, and they're starting to come in, and we're doing more. So just hang in there. Don't quit. Okay, don't quit. If you get some wounds, put some Band-Aids on, put some patches, call some people. I need some help. Okay, and then away you go. So that's all.
Well, I think Kev, the wonderful thing is that all the people that are on this call tonight, I believe that we're all getting the vibe. We're all building each other up. We're all getting more and more confident. And I know that as people come on this call, I know that there's more people that want to speak. I know there's more people that didn't want to speak or are sitting there going, oh, well, what if what I have to say is not important? Or people think, that's okay. It's okay. We've all felt that. Put your hand up. This is a team call. This is where we undergird each other. This is where we support each other. John Maxwell said, confidence is caught. We can catch it. How do we catch it? From our teammates. That's how we catch confidence, right? So don't ever think that what you have to say on my call is not important. Everybody has a role to play. Everybody is important. Everybody learns together. So don't ever feel, if you're sitting there in your chair or on your couch tonight saying, oh, I wish I had the confidence, just showing up to this call, you'll eventually have the confidence, because I can tell you there's people on this call that have never raised their hand that are raising their hand now. And so I'm elated for that. So Helen, please go ahead and unmute.
I'm pretty sure I've raised my hands before, but so I just want to add, sometimes when we meet people and we're like in the restaurant or somewhere and you do this balance demo, and we worry about rejection, we worry about having the confidence to actually do that in public. And we usually say something like, have you heard of Super Patch? And chances are most people have said, I've never heard of it. So you already know 100% more about this product, this company, than that person. So even if you only give it 10%, it's still 100% to them. And you can always follow up or, give them the patch on and they've gone away for 24 hours. You get their phone number, you put it in your phone, and then you can send whatever links. But you already have so much more knowledge than them, and they think you know everything. And you can walk away thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't say this, I should have done that, I should have done that. To them, you blew their mind away because you did the balance and stability demonstration.
Yeah.
So just thought I'd add that.
That's a key factor, Helen, for sure. Mm-hmm. The balance test. And certainly I know that walking up to people, it's difficult. it's difficult for a lot of people to walk up to people for sure. So the balance test, I mean, I often see people that, are struggling and I say, excuse me, I couldn't help but notice that you're struggling with something. And I'm in the business to help people that are struggling. Can I share something with you? It's coming at it not like a lion on a deer. It's coming at them, gentle, right? So great point, Helen. The balance test is a key factor to all of this. So thank you for that. Edna, great to see you on here. Go ahead and unmute. You're still muted, Edna. Edna, you keep trying to unmute. I'm going to move to Sue Vipon. Sue, go ahead and unmute. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. So when Kevin was here, we filled his dance card, and it was really amazing to watch him in action and learn so much about the balance test and just watching him. My biggest thing is I can talk to anybody anywhere, but getting up on a stage, I freeze. And watching Kevin, it was great to be able to rely on him for that. It's great to be able to rely on I Decide for that. I need to get over that. And I need to, not need to, I want to, but I find when I'm afraid to do things, I try to have fun with them. So with the balance test, I have a lot of fun with people. Hey, you want to see something really cool? Your enthusiasm is infectious. The more you say, hey, you want to see this magical product that I have, and make it a mystery and blow their mind, get other people involved, get their friends involved, have one of their friends put their hand on top to be involved in the demo. I love working trade shows, just bringing people, and why not, right? I mean, it's just the cost of a patch, and you learn from every single experience. Well, I could have done that better, but it's a numbers game. And the more you get out there and the more you patch, the more success you're going to have. Now, in terms of giving the presentation, and Terry, you've been fabulous with helping me on going through the compensation plan too. I actually went and I joined Toastmasters, and I also just finished an improv class.
Nice.
And when you're not thinking about what you're saying and that you have to be perfect and you just shoot from the cuff, it makes all the difference in the world. And I will share one thing that Kevin left me with that I haven't told you this, Kevin, was I said, Kevin, how do you do that? You're so good on stage and you're so confident. And he said that he's the same Kevin in the store. He's the same Kevin at home. He's the same Kevin on the stage. And I cherish that, because I want to be the same Sue everywhere that I go. And then you don't have to worry about what people think, because it's who I am. So
great point,
those are my
Sue.
thoughts.
Yeah, great point. And I will be the first one to say that yes, Kevin is the same. He's the same guy I met way back when. We've done a lot of traveling together, Kevin and I. We've prayed together. We've done a lot of things together, and we're just the same guys. And I think that's what we're trying to achieve here. At least Kevin and I are trying to achieve that. We're all just real people. We're all just trying to help the world. And we all may not be good at it yet, but we'll get good at it, because this company's only just started, right? So great points. Be who you are. And, it's funny, Sue, I've talked to a number of pro athletes about going into big games. And I said, you get nervous? Like, aren't you nervous going into big games? And almost every pro athlete I've ever talked to says, I turn that nervousness into excitement. I'm excited that I get to play in a big game. So for all you listening on here, when you're going to go do something, change that nervousness or fear into excitement, that you get the opportunity to do this. You get the opportunity to share this. You get the opportunity to educate somebody. So thank you for that, Sue. Really appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you in July, possibly.
Yes, absolutely.
And Kevin and I are there. That'll be awesome. So Edna, you got figured out how to mute? That a girl.
No, somebody did it for me. I don't know how. It was freezing.
Good for
Anyway,
you.
yeah, all of you guys are making such great points and helping me with my confidence because I've lost my confidence. My husband's had 4 major surgeries this year alone. And so we've spent a lot of time in cancer surgical unit where there's some pretty phenomenal people, nurses and surgeons and residents. But I lose my confidence in that kind of a situation. Every single person that's there, whether it's the nurses working hard, becoming tired in their 12-hour shifts, whether it's the guy next, or you're hearing all the stories about neuropathy and sleep, and I'm on this drug and that drug, and you think, oh, I've got this patch this technology that can help all of these people, right down to the janitor, the house cleaners. They're all working so hard in those hospitals. Their workload is tremendous. And I lose it. I'm sitting there thinking, I've got to talk to them. I've got to do something. Every now and again, I break through and I take a nurse to the side, and I've hit the nail on the head probably a couple of times, but most of the time they get the deer in the headlights kind of thought and or look, and they intimidate me. So this is all helping tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I like, Terry, what you just said, be who you are, because I am the patches. I am the technology. Sorry. And it just infuriates me that I cannot do that in a hospital situation. But anyway, I did help one of the nurses who has lower back pain, and she gladly takes the Freedom Patch from me. And hopefully we're done with the hospital situation for a while. And but anyway, I've got the home care nurses now to work with.
And now we're praying for your husband.
Thank you.
We hope the best. And in situations like that, in hospital environments, don't be too hard on yourself, because a lot of times they are so focused on what they're doing there that they don't have time to focus on what you're trying to do. So maybe just in the future, just a little something, if you could hand them a pamphlet or whatever, or get their information, say, I have something that I've been doing for X number of years that I believe can not only help you in your stress level, help you with maybe, pain from being on your feet so long, that would it be okay if we went for a cup of tea or a coffee or something someday? Try that, and then you won't be so hard on yourself, I'll guarantee you. Because a lot of times, like you say, they don't have the time. They're focused on helping people, right? Yes, we're focused on helping people too, but think about it. If you're in the middle of doing a demo and somebody comes up to you and say, "Hey, Edna, I got this, brand new potion I want to show you." You know what I mean? You'd be a little bit. So just maybe don't be too hard on yourself that you can't do it. It's not that you can. It's just that you're in their environment and you're in their workspace, and I think it's more about you not wanting to interrupt what they're doing and what they're focused on there, more so than being hard on yourself. But if you can get 2 seconds, say, I don't want to talk to you about this right now, but I would love to get together with you sometime where I could share this with you, because we're in the business of helping people. And obviously, the healthcare practitioner or nurse, that's what they want to do. They're there because they care about helping people. So it will align with them.
That does help, Terry. And I will say one thing. We all love Kevin Duguay so much, and that's a thought that goes through my mind when I'm sitting there wanting. Kevin Duguay would know exactly what to do in this moment. So anyway, thanks a lot for listening, everyone. Yeah,
thank you for
you're
sharing.
all helping.
Thank you. Okay, we're running on the clock here. I want to be cognizant of everybody's time. So Florian, please unmute.
I just want to follow up with what Paul said about being messy. Um, don't be worried about being messy because if you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And then when they look at you and they say, well, if that person can make a business and successful of it, but this, I can't do it. I mean, it's simple or whatever. Because if you're trying to be too technical and throw big words and everything, and people's going to look at it, well, I can't do that. So you're transferring confidence to that person. If they can do it, I can do it too. So Paul was right. I mean, don't be worried about being messy because it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Great.
That's all.
Yeah. Great point, Florian, for sure. Um, uh, we all get better. I'll guarantee you when surgeons graduated, they weren't all great surgeons yet. They had to do it by practicing. And so I'm sure that, anybody that was an electrician or anybody that became a plumber, that they've had times where they've done jobs that said, oh my gosh, did I ever mess this one up? So great point. Do it messy and you'll get better with it. So thank you for sharing. Okay, Jeanette asked to unmute. Let's wrap it up tonight.
Hi, am I on? Yeah, okay. So first of all, Edna, you're healing. So give yourself a break. It's hard when you're in the hospital, your husband is hurt, okay? You will get there. So don't worry. So, my God, I lost my thought all of a sudden. I learned a long time ago because I did some of the businesses. No, we were young, where parents were saying, no, you're not doing this, no, not doing that. So it's in our head. But we need to go through the no's before we will get the yes. So if you don't have any no's, you won't get any yes. And when people are trying to take away my confidence and they're telling me that what I do doesn't work, I look at them and I said, you know what? There's still some Tylenol and Advil on the shelf at the Jean Coutu's place. You could always go there. This is what I do. And they don't know what I know. They don't want to know. Too bad. Thank you.
Yep, that's confidence for sure, Jeanette. And, I've had people run me down, buddies I play golf with, buddies I play hockey with. And a lot of them are struggling and I'm not. And so this is my journey. It may not be theirs, but whenever I get a shot from one of those guys that I play sports with or whatever, I just say, you guys have a right to be wrong. It's within your right to be wrong. I said, you will one day try this technology. Trust me. And if you don't, I feel sad for you. Because if you only knew what we knew, there would be, as I posted on my page today, a revolution. There truly would be. And so I want to thank everybody. I know there's a young man on this call here, JJ, that I would like JJ just to say a couple words to wrap this up because JJ has had an incredible experience with this patch. And I think as we've all talked about confidence, and this young man was open to try this product and confident enough to say, I've got everything to gain. I've got everything to gain. So welcome, JJ. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, but I'm sure I will someday. So thank you for being on this call tonight. And please share a little bit of your story.
Well, where to begin? The last 5 years have been for not being able to walk around. And I met a very special lady, Peter, and she got me out of my comfort zone, and it inspired me to start trying to walk again. Cause I've been in a wheelchair about almost 5 years. And after putting on the patch, I felt my balance got a lot better. I didn't wobble as much, but at the end of the day, I really want this to work, and I love these patches. They've helped me with a lot of confidence in my life that I lost.
JJ, I saw you walk. I saw your video. I saw you walk by just holding on, and you walked all the way around the vehicle. And then I saw you on a knee board. You know what incredible balance it takes to be on that knee board, and you've been in a wheelchair for 5 years? Incredible. I'm going to bring you back on, JJ, in another night, and then maybe one of our next calls. And I'm going to have you, we're going to play that video and show what these patches have done for you. This is giving JJ a new lease on life. And so we can feel your gratitude, JJ, on here.
Well, thank you. It's helped me a lot. In the past week, I've been wearing them. I've seen a lot of improvement in my balance and in my life.
Well, we're excited for you. These are what we call the next moments. We're all really, really excited for you. JJ, we're grateful that you're here. We want you to shout this from the rooftops from people. So we will bring you back on. I will speak with Pitter, and we will play your video maybe next week. And we'll get more of your story. But keep fighting, JJ. Jeremy, you're an inspiration to all of us. Thank you so much for being on here. And guys, I just wanted to wrap up with a thank you to everybody, and just a little bit of house cleaning here. I just want to remind people, when you're inviting people to this group, Patchination, please do it in real time and let them know, because your invitation, if they don't know that they've been invited, expires in 24 hours. So before you invite somebody, let them know that you're going to invite them. Do it in real time if you can, so that they can answer the question, because when they answer the invite, they're asked a question of what is your associate ID number. And the reason we do that is we don't want rogue people hacking into our team. So please go back. I think we have 16 pending invitations right now in this group. And so when they get to 24 hours removed and you don't know that the person you invited has been removed, or they haven't accepted your invite. So please, please, please follow up with your people, or do it in real time. So I'm just going to stop the recording.